Welcome back to part 2 of modeling in Blender. Now, in my first part of the video, I've shown you how you can make this. And in this part, I'm going to be showing you how you are going to make a complete structure or, a basic house out of this. And obviously, I'm going to show you a couple of steps of how you'll be able to add in elements to make it look a lot more better. Okay. And even if we cannot complete it in 2 parts, I'm going to show you another part where I'm going to complete up the whole thing with a couple more elements to make it look more professional. So make sure not to skip any part from this on, and you already know how to save it up. So we're going to be saving a couple of changes which we already make. So the first thing we're going to do is just hop on to our edit tab or our edit mode. And in my last thing, which I've shown you, is how we can make this door. Now, what if you made this door and you want to make some changes on it? So first thing what we're going to do is going to be, let's go off the wireframing so that we can see it's a lot more better. Or you can also go off the render mode to check it out if you want to. So I'm going to keep it over here. Or maybe I'm going to do is just keep it like this. Okay, instead of that, let me just go off over here. I'm going to do is just change it to EV so that it is a lot more smoother even on our render mode. So as you can see over here on our render mode right now, what I'm going to do is going to be selecting the parts which we want to edit. Now, let's say I want to change the size of this door right now. So how would you be able to do that? First thing, what I'm going to do is going to be selecting on these parts. You can also press on Alt so that it selects up the whole cycle over here. You can see it over here like this. You can see now the whole cycle of this has been selected. Now, what you can do is just press on G and then you can move it up and down. Let's say what I want to do is that I want to press on Z and I can increase it up if I want to. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to press on G, or I'm going to do is undo the process again. I'm going to hold on to Shift on this one too, so that it works in all of these cases. So what I'm going to do over here is going to press on G and then Z, and then you can increase the size of this door. Now you can see the door is a lot more taller. Now we can do the same thing on the sides if we want to increase the size of this door. Let's say I'm going to press on that, hold on to Alt, and I'm going to do select the whole loop. Okay, you can see the whole loop has been selected. Now I'm going to press on G, and now what I'm going to do is going to be increasing the size on the X-axis. And now when I increase it, you can see that it has given me kind of like a barn type of effect on the house. So I can also make something like that if I want to. So I'm going to do is just keep it somewhere around over here. Okay, looking quite perfect. There we go. And we also have our door to be quite the size. Now, what if I want to make this whole thing into a whole extrude, or not even an extrude? Let's say I want to make the whole thing to be a model or modifier. So how would you be able to do that? First thing is that you have to go off the modifier over here. And if you're using, or if you've used an older version of Blender, you just have to press on Control and A, it will be applied. But another thing is that you are now on the newer version of Blender. So for that purpose, you have to go off to the object mode, or you can press on Tab. Now go off the object mode and press on Control and A. And the modifier will be applied and the whole thing will turn into a shape. Now, the mirror which we've done, or the mirror which we saw that worked, will also turn into an object right now. Now, how will you be able to, analyze or see it? Just go back to our, edit mode, and you can see now the whole thing has turned into a vertical. Okay. So these has turned into vertexes. Okay. So you can edit up any part you want. Now, as we already have the structure over here, now obviously we only have the door, but we need a couple of other things too, such as the window, such as even, the top part, which is going to be the shed. And then we might also apply in a chimney and a couple of other windows too. Now, if you want to apply those, what you have to do is you have to make your own, just by using the loop cut. So apply the loop cut, press on Control and S or Control R, and then I'm going to apply it over here. Let's say I'm going to do is take it over here, and I'm going to press on Control R again. I'm going to do is just apply Fix it according to your need wherever you need the window to be. I'm going to use Control R on this one. There we go. Control R. This one again. There we go. So we have it over here. I'm going to apply another window over here on the side. So I'm going to press on Control R. There we go. I'm going to apply it a bit. Okay, let's just keep it a bit on the middle or maybe a bit on the side. There we go. Control R. I'm going to keep it on the center. To check it wherever it meets up with the other one. There we go. Control R. There we go. So we have our window on both sides. Now you can also apply more if you want to. Now I've already shown you how you can remove out that certain part. So I'm going to do is just remove that. Select on these parts. There we go. And then I'm going to do is just remove this face. Press on X. And I'm going to remove the face. There we go. Has been removed. Do the same thing over here. Shift X and then remove the faces. So we have two windows on our house. And now what I'm going to do is going to be applying my chimney. To apply my chimney, I'm going to do is going to be using this 3D cursor first at the top. And I'm going to do is just adjust it up. Shift, right click. There we go. Shift, right click over here at the center. And now what I'm going to do is going to press on Shift and A. And then I'm going to do is apply myself a plane. So not a plane, I'm going to do is just apply myself a cube. There we go. We have this cube over here. I'm going to do is scale it up, scale it. There we go. This is the size which I need. I'm going to do is just adjust it. There we go. Totally quite perfect. I'm going to scale it up just a bit more. There we go. Now, what I'm going to do is going to be pressing on G and I'm going to use it a bit later. Now, first things first is that I'm going to be needing a shed, which is going to work like an object. So first thing is that there are a couple of tools which I'm going to show you. Now, if you press on C, you'll basically see that your mouse will turn into this circle over here. So first off, I'm going to do is press on C again. If you press back on C, it will turn back on, okay? Or you can just press on T to move it up and down. So this basically turns into a circle selector. You can also zoom in and out if you want to, but it's basically up to you however you want to work with it. And you can also move back to your tool over here. You can apply this selection tool back again, and you can also increase it up and down. And when you press on C back again, it will turn into that selector. So first thing what you're going to do is going to be selecting the part which I actually need. So let's say I'm going to select up all of these parts over here. You can see it. There we go. Selected up the whole face. So we have selected up the whole face of the shed. Now, what I can do is make a copy of it. So if I want to make a copy of it, I can press on Control and D. Now, it will make up this shape for me, okay? So I'm going to do is just increase it a bit at the top. So I'm going to do is just keep it over there. And if I go off to the left side, you can see that I have made an exact duplicate. But another thing is that if I see it from the front, you can see there's nothing because it is totally thin. So I'm going to do is just keep it on the wireframe mode. And I'm going to do is just select this box over here. First off, I'm going to do is just select this. I'm going to go off to object mode. There we go. We have this over here. I'm not going to be pressing all of them. I'm going to do is just select on this cube over here. And I'm going to do is just select this object. There we go. So I'm going to do is just take it together over here. I'm going to go off back to edit mode. I'm going to press on this specific object. Press on G. and I'm going to move it to be a bit on this side. Now, what I'm going to do is going to be removing the parts which I do not need. So I'm going to turn this whole shed into an object without any of these vertices. To apply or remove the vertices, you're going to follow a couple of steps. Man, you can also do it in other ways. Let's say I'm going to do is just press on Control Z, and then I'm going to do is just remove the shed. You can just keep pressing on Control Z until it has been removed. But another thing is that whenever you are in this mode, let's say I'm going to do is just delete this specific part out, only this selected part, or maybe I'm going to press on C. I'm going to increase the size. There we go. And I'm going to do select up these areas. If you want to select up these areas, just press on C and your cursor will turn into something like this. And then you'll be able to move it up however you want. So I'm going to press on C again or T again to, get back to how it was. You can press on this and click on select box. There we go. You can also remove out the parts which you do not need. I'm going to move on to solid mode over here. I'm going to go off the object or edit mode. I'm going to press on C and I'm going to do select up the parts which I need. So I can also move on to the first part of over here. You can also change it back into however it was. You can see I'm going to go off of the first one. Let's say I'm going to go off over here. I'm going to do is just move this certain area out. G. I'm going to select up object mode. Only select up this area, Control A. Double click to select. I'm going to press on G to move it out. Or you can also click on edit mode to move out the whole thing. There we go. Press on G. I'm going to move it out a bit. There we go. And now I'm going to press on C and I'm going to do select up the parts, which is going to be this one. You can do the same thing to apply the shed. So let's say I'm going to do select this. And you can use your mouse or your scroll key to deselect the parts. So I'm going to press on G, right click over here. I can now take it up and down if you want to. And you can also delete the whole thing if you want to. Press on G again and press on delete and that part will be deleted. Okay? You can delete it up if you want to, but if you don't want to, you can also keep it however it is. And you can also do the same thing with another shed. Let's say I'm going to do is keep it on one so that I get the front view. Type on C or press on C and then select up the top parts of, your shed. And then you can just press on Shift and D to make a copy and press G to take it out. Shift and D, duplicate it, press G to take it out. Right click over here, Shift D, G to take it out of your, your whole area. There we go. And after you're done, you can just check the whole thing out. It will be looking like this, but as it is thin, it's not showing you anything. So you can just remove the whole thing out. Okay. You can also press on delete. Just select the whole vertices. I'm going to do select all of them. And I'm going to do just press on delete vertices. Okay. There we go. We are almost done. Now, what I'm going to do is going to be turning all of these into a whole separate object. So to do that, I'm going to select up all of them again, or use my circular selection brush tool to select up the parts. What I'm going to do is just select all of these areas. Only select up the top part, which I'm going to use by panning. There we go. Now we can see the top part whole has been selected. Now I'm going to press on P to separate the whole thing. Now when you press on P, this option will appear up and I want to use it as a selection. Now you can see the whole thing has turned into another object. So when it turns into another object, you will not see the other vertices. But you can also take the other vertices and take it over another one to, just merge them up together. Now what I'm going to do is just press on G and I'm going to do is take it on another angle. So I'm going to press on G on this one and I can take it up. Okay. So you can select on this part over here, which is this one, which is this over here, Q1. I'm going to press on G and I'm going to move it. So I'm going to press on object mode and you'll be able to take it inside or outside, wherever you want. You can use the Z to adjust it up. You can see this is how it will look like. And I'm going to press on escape right now so that I can see the whole view. Now, what I'm going to do is going to be going off the wireframe mode to see the whole thing. Okay, I'm going to press on 1 on my numpad to see how it works. Now, I'm going to put it inside of the house. So I'm going to press on G again. I'm going to take it, or press on Z, and I'm going to take it somewhere inside of this area. Just a bit, not too much, just a bit. Okay, then we're going to fix it up later on. So we have cube 001. I'm going to name it to be the shed. Okay, I'm going to type in sheds. And now I'm going to be applying a bit of effect over here. Now to apply the effect or make it a bit thicker, if I go on to other modes, you can see that this is inside and the roof is actually still at the top. So what I'm going to do is going to be applying in a bit of extrude. So press on E on the specific one, go off to edit mode, select on the sheds, and press on this one. And you'll be able to apply the, let's say, effect over there. So first thing is that I'm going to go back to object mode and take it at the top so that I can merge all of those other things or other vertices up. And press on G and I'm going to take it up again. And here I'm going to go back to edit mode. Now, what I'm going to do is going to be merging these specific vertices up. So I'm going to press on that. I'm going to use that. I'm going to press on Control C to undo the process. You can see also the other ones which you'll be able to use. But first thing, what I'm going to do is going to be using only this specific one. So if I want to use this specific one and I'm going to merge these other shapes up, what I'm going to do is going to be selecting a specific loop. Let's say I selected the specific loop and I can also just press on double G and I'm going to take it over there. Use the same thing over here. I'm going to press on double or Alt and then select double G. Just take it over here and merge it up on the other one. So I'm going to press on this one, double G, and I'm going to take it off to the other one, Alt and select double G onto the other one. I'm going to select on this one too, double G, and merge it to the other one. Because we're not going to be needing these loop cuts anymore, so I'm going to do select that, double G, take it over here, select on this one, Alt, double G, Alt select, double G. There we go. So as all of them are done, now the last thing what we can do is the last one over here. We have it over here. I'm going to select on this, Alt select, double G. I'm going to do is just select on this Alt. I'm going to do is just zoom out a bit. Press on Z. The whole thing, select the whole thing. Double G. I'm going to select on this one. You can see this over here. Double G. There we go. It's almost merged. Okay, it's almost merged. So there we go. We have the effect over here. We can also see the sides. I'm going to do is just press on this G over here. And I'm going to do is just select on this part over here. Or press on S. I'm just going to do is just increase it just a bit so that it adds up to that one. And you can also fix it up however you want to. Let's say I'm going to select on this. What I'm going to do is just scale it just a bit more. There we go. So this has turned basically into a shape. So I'm going to do is just press on P. And I'm going to do is just press on selection. I'm going to press on, this is how it will look like. And now what I can do is also merge all of them up. So I'm going to select on this specific part, which is the shed. I'm going to select on this A. Only this one. Alt A. You can see it over here. This is how it will look like. I'm going to press on C to select up the parts which I do not need. I'm going to select on this, Alt, to keep it out of the selection mode. You can see this is selected. I'm going to press on M to merge all of them together. And you can see you can apply a new collection. So I'm going to apply a new collection. Let's say I'm going to name it Shed this time. Hit on OK. And we have it on the shed. So I'm going to do is just select on A, and you'll be able to select up only this part if you want to. Select both of them up, and you can select it and also merge it however you want. So it just helps you to organize it up however you want to. Now I'm going to do is going to be apply a bit of extrude on it. If you want to apply a bit of extrude on it, you have to press on E on your keyboard. As the whole thing is merged up, I'm going to press on, let's say I'm going to do is just increase the whole size of this by selecting on A. Let's say I'm going to do is just remove out this part, vertices, remove these. I'm going to select on all of it and press on S to increase out the parts. So as this is increased up, I want the cube to be visible over here. Okay, so I'm going to do is just apply up the visible cube of the house. There you can see. And now from here, I'm going to select up the part, which is Control A and S to increase it just a bit. And then I'm going to do is just use the G to keep it somewhere over here. There we go. We're done with our shed. Now we can also get to the front part and adjust it. This is where I need it. There you go. It is increased on all sides. Now I'm going to do is apply an E to apply that, to make the thickness of the shed. So I'm going to do is just keep it somewhere up till here so that it looks a bit better. Okay. Now you can apply the same effect on all sides. You can check it if you want to. If you think that one side is too much, you can also decrease the size. I'm going to do is just select on A. I'm going to select on S, and I'm going to just reduce the size, and I'm going to press on G to adjust it. There we have the side view. I'm going to do is just select on G to move it and scale it a bit less, and G to adjust it back again to the center. We can also see it from the front part. This is how it looks like from the side and also behind. Okay, so this is how it will look like. And now I'm going to do is just press on A and G to take it a bit at the top so that we don't see the inner surface of the house. Now I'm going to apply this chimney over here. So I'm going to do is just select on this one, which is going to be this cube over here. So this is the cube which I'm going to be using. So I'm going to select up the parts on the edit mode or on the object mode, whichever one I'm using. So you can select up this object over here and you can move it wherever you want. But if you want to use it as an individual cube, what you can do is just either remove one of it and then work on the rest. So I'm going to do is just remove this first. Click on edit mode. I'm going to do is just select all of these over here. There we go. As all of this has been selected, what I'm going to do is going to be turning this right click. I'm going to do is apply the subdivide so that there are more parts into it. I'll select all of these up. And now what I'm going to do is going to be holding on shift and select the other parts, right click, and I'm going to do is just make another part of it. I'm going to press on M. I'm going to merge them up. And then I'm going to do is going to be make a new collection out of it. So to make a new collection, I'm going to right click on it. And then what you can do is that you can delete the vertices if you want to. But if you want to make a new collection and then make yourself a new box or a new cube, you can do that too. So from here, if you want to make it more easier, you can just delete the vertices and apply it on a new collection. So to make a new collection, you're going to do is just apply a newer one over here, apply outliner or whichever one you want. Let's say over here, I'm going to press on Shift and A, and I'm going to do is just apply in another cube. So when I apply in another cube, what I'm going to do is going to be selecting up this part over here. Even on the object mode, I'm going to select that. You can move it if you want to, but it will still show you that it is still on, let's say on the same collection. So first thing what you have to do is make yourself a new collection. Over here, you can make new collections. You can right click on it and you can just make a new collection. Just click on new collection and there we go. You can drag it into the new collection over here. And you can also make new collection over here. And on the collection 3, which I'm going to drag out to be the newer one, I'm going to take it over here. And on the third collection, I'm going to apply in my cube. Press on here, cube, and there we go. On this cube over here, I'm going to use this cube, which is opened up to be in my third collection. So I'm going to take it over here, or even it works as a new plane. Okay, so you can increase up that part if you want to. You can also, when you delete it over here, you'll basically see the whole thing will be removed. So what you can do is just take this whole cube over here and drag it into the third collection. So all of them are on the third collection, which is just kind of works like, it's kind of like layers to use in, other software. So what I'm going to do is going to be pressing on G and I'm going to adjust it first. So I'm going to do is first off, keep it over here, scale it a bit, shorter. And I'm going to do is scale it on another angle. There we go. And I'm going to do is going to be keeping this into over here. G, and there we go. And I'm going to do is going to be selecting that part again, or select up the whole thing. I'm going to press on Control Z to select up the whole parts, and I'm going to do scale it up on the Z axis. There we go. Now we have it. Now what I'm going to do is going to be applying. I'm going to do is just apply on G. I'm going to keep it on the center again. There we go. Looks a lot better, but we need the intersection over here. To make the intersection, what I'm going to do is going to be applying a bit of effect, which you're going to follow up. Okay. Collection 3. Now I'm going to be showing you. I'm going to show you another feature which I can do over here is that first off, I'm going to go off over here and select the face. Now, you might think that obviously we need a hollow in the chimney, right? But if you remove the face, it will just look hollow, which was not realistic. But what you can do is press on Control Z to undo the process and press on I to apply the inset. So you can see I can apply the thickness inside of it. And what you can do is that you can go down and press on G and close this thickness like this. There we go. This is how it should look like. Okay, so this is how the inset feature works. And now we're almost done with applying effects and also making complete our house. Now, what I'm going to do is going to be showing you the last two things to complete this whole basic modeling is that I'm going to apply the base and also how you can make different one of these vertices into a shape. To make each and every one of these into a shape, what you can do, first I'm going to do is click on this collection 2 or this cube over here. Let's see which one it selects. I'm going to do is just press on G. I'm going to keep it, go off to object mode, press on G, keep it somewhere over here so that it is merged up. There we go. Looks a lot more better. Now, first thing what I'm going to do is go off to edit mode again. And here I'm going to apply in Shift A and apply a plane. So when you apply a plane, what will happen is that it will give you the base. So I'm going to do is just apply the base over here. And then what I'm going to do is going to be pressing on S and I'm going to increase the base. There we go. And I'm going to apply the extrude. So I'm going to do is apply the extrude over here so that we have a floor for our house. You can see this is the floor which we're working on. And you can also apply a cube and turn it into a floor too, which is going to be a bit more time consuming, but you can try that too. Shift A, put in a cube, and then you're going to do is going to be pressing on G. You're going to fix it up just like this. And then what you're going to do is just scale it up like this, only on the Z axis. And then on the X axis, first off, fix on the Z axis, and then scale it on the X axis or Y axis. It's just basically up to you how you want to work with it. There we go. And then you can put it under the house if you want to. But I try using the plane most of the time because it is just more easier for me to work with. And then the last thing what I'm going to show you is going to be how you're going to apply each and every one of these into a shape. Okay, so first things first, I'm going to use this pan mode to go down over here. And then I'm going to do is go off the edit mode and I'm going to select each and every one of these vertices. So first off, click on vertices. I'm going to select on them only the ones which make up the shape of the house. Select on these. There we go. So as we are basically done with this over here, I'm going to do is going to be selecting on this plane first. I'm going to select on this plane or select on the face of the plane. And then you're going to do is just take it down. Okay, so you're going to increase the size of this. You have this cube over here and then our whole plane. Select on this object or select on the whole face. I'm going to do is click on extrude and I'm going to just take it a bit down. Do select all of these over here, press on G and move it a bit up if you want to. There we go. And now you'll be able to change each and every one into a shape. So I'm going to click on this vertices option, click on them. There we go. We can see the bottom right now. And then what you're going to do is going to be pressing on P to make a selection. And then we go, it has turned into a shape. Now, if I press on E, I'll be able to apply the extrude over here. So I'm going to do select on this one too. There we go. Select on all of these parts. All of these have been selected. And then you're going to do is just select on, okay, I'm going to do zoom in and select on P. Okay, I'm going to do is just go down over here. Okay, selection, and now it has turned into a shape. So what you can do is just select on E right now and make a bezel out of it. You can see that a lot of the parts has been, changed, but you can also undo the whole process if you want to and make changes to it. So first thing what you're going to do over here is that you can move it. You can see when you select this or you have this use the selection tool, you'll be able to move it wherever you want. And you can also apply in different type of effects. Another thing what you can do is that you're going to press on Shift and A on your keyboard, and then you can apply in a cube. When you apply in a cube, this is the thing what you can do is you can make the cube into the door intersection. To do that, what you're going to do is going to be selecting up this part, press on scale. I'm going to do is just fix it up on the X axis. There we go. Now we're going to do is also scale it up from the top, A, and select all of these. Select up the parts. And they're going to do is going to scale it up on the Z axis again. There we go. And then you can move it inside here. You can also fix it up on the left side, which you can do is over here. Scale it on the Y axis. You can type in 0 if you want to. And there we go. This is what we want. And then I'm going to just press on G, and you can put it right where it is. I'm going to do is just keep it a bit over here on the Y-axis, which we can move. Press on G. This is where we want it. And then we can also select each and every one of them and adjust it. So I'm going to press on this one, press on scale if you want to, or you can also move it if you want to. Let's say I'm going to do select on this specific one, scale it up. And you can also increase the size if you want to. Let's say I'm going to do select all of them. I'll just click on select face. You're going to do is press on G, and you're going to do is just increase it if you want to. You can press on scale, and there we go. It has increased. Now, as it has increased, you can see this is how it will look like. But when you right click on it, and you want to do is just right click, and you're going to do is just take it behind. So you're going to do is just right click again, select up the thing, press on G, and you're going to do is move it inside. You can press on Control Z if you've done a mistake. What you can do is just take it back just like that, or you can just increase up the whole thing. There we go. And then you're going to do is just move it on the y-axis. And then you can apply an I to make the hollow. You can see this. Press on I to make the hollow inside. You can also keep it just the way it is, or you can make an intersect just by pressing on E, or make a bevel to make your own door. Okay, you can also go off to other options. You can see this is how it looked like. I'm going to use this option over here, and I'm going to just select on these two specific vertices, and you can also drag it at the top. This is how it will look like when you take it above. You can also do the same thing over here. Select on only both of these and press it down. There we go. This is how it will look like when you are done selecting that. You can also press on S to decrease the size of this. You can also take it a bit above. There we go. This is how it will look. You can also fix it from the left side or the bottom. There we go. Fixed up. And now we have our basic door. You can also do the same thing on the windows and follow up the steps and complete the cycle. So hope you understood everything about this lesson on 3D, 3D modeling. There will be a lot of things, and it is kind of really complex. You can also get the rendered effect, and you can also apply the camera to check it out how it looks like. So hope you understood about the basic modeling in Blender. If you still have any confusion about any part of the lesson, feel free to ask me. I'm always there to help you up. And then you can press on Control and S to save up the whole thing. So thank you for watching this video again, and let's move on to our next lesson of Blender.